It's the Unhappy Hour.
Broadcasting to you live from the Milky Way Galaxy, the solar system, planet Earth, North America, the United States of America. California, Los Angeles to be specific. Hello and welcome, everybody. It is the Unhappy Hour. Yes, the Unhappy Hour. Lord Almighty, let me tell you about my past week. A week and a couple days, or 2 weeks at this point. Man, it's been a long couple of weeks. Good couple of weeks, but long. Went to an Ohio State game. It was a nail-biter versus Kent. What was the final score of that game? 64 to nothing? Something like that. And then I went to the Browns game, and I remembered why the show is called the Unhappy Hour. Let me just tell you. Cleveland Browns found a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Oh, was that a frustrating game. Yeah, 66 to nothing over Kent. Now they take on Cincinnati. But even that, I mean, think about it. Braxton Miller gets hurt. Heisman potential. A Heisman candidate preseason. Hurt before the season even starts. Cleveland Indians over the past couple weeks had it all right in front of them and just didn't do so well. And now they're making a run right now, like a really strong run. Cleveland, what am I on? If the season ended today, Oakland and Kansas City play in a wild card. The percentages, what is that? 99.8% chance for the Royals, 97.5% chance for Oakland, 2.2% chance for Seattle, and 0.1% for the Cleveland Indians. Well, they won again tonight. 1-0. Corey Kluber struck out 11 over 8, setting a strikeout record. So hey, you know what? Indians are still in it. Just a little bit. I don't know. Indians are 84 and 76. It's a good season, not a great season. Michael Brantley's been incredible this year. Corey Kluber has been insane. A lot of holes on the team, though. I don't know. I mean, but they're competitive. This is the second we made that. And by the way, can we switch that doggone wild card thing? You get in a wild card, why don't you play a division leader? And if you have the best record in your conference, or in your division. What am I saying here? Confusing conferences with divisions. If you have the best record in the American League, you get a bye. And the other two teams have to play in the wild card. I don't like that one-game play-in thing that we had last year versus Tampa Bay. No, not a fan. What do you want me to say? Not a fan. So, with the Indians, hey, it's September 26th, and the Indians are still relevant. Go figure. It's been a decent year. I mean, is it the type of year where they're shoo-ins to win a World Series? If there was such a thing. No, they're not. Well, no, there isn't, and no, the Indians are not. We've had a pretty solid year, though. Kind of proud of the Tribe. Got to go see them play the Dodgers. They smoked the Dodgers, actually. When was that? That was around 4th of July, if I recall correctly. Whoop, hold on. And that is a big if. Oh, Lord, hold on. There we go. No! All right. Yes, better. Hey, welcome back. Thanks. Hopefully that wasn't ear-curdling for you. It's just been one of those days with technical glitches. Okay, yeah, it was the Dodgers. I think it was Tuesday, July 1st. Indians won 10-3. That's pretty cool. You know? I'd say that's pretty cool. You know, they played good baseball against a lot of good teams this year. Competitive team. Terry Francona, hell of a manager. Tell you what, why don't we go sign Victor Martinez? I know he's toward the end of his career. I know that he's going to command a lot of money, but who knows? Maybe he comes back to Cleveland like LeBron. Speaking of which, did you see the press junket, the Cleveland Cavaliers press day? Kevin Love, Kyrie Irving, Anderson Varejao. Tell you what, kind of cool. Kind of cool knowing that the Cavs are going to be the epicenter of the universe next year. Well, I'm sorry, this year. Oh, man, I'm really looking forward to that. It's been such a long, awesome off-season. But once again, we're reminded that LeBron left and had to win his titles elsewhere as we continue our 50-year drought since 1964, which brings me to the Cleveland Browns. Yes? Yes. I went to the Cleveland Browns game last week. Yes, I was there. I'd say I have the t-shirt to prove it, but I don't. What I do have is a very salty, very frustrated, very typical feeling, a very, I guess maybe you could say it was an angry thing. Yeah, let's say it was a happy little angry thing. Paint the clouds. Yeah, so 23-21. Baltimore defeats the Cleveland Browns. Now, some of you might say, sure, our second pick in the first round of last year's draft, number 22, Johnny Manziel, he's relegated to trick plays that are illegal. That was a really cool play, though. I understand they didn't do it right, and it was called back on a penalty, but if you haven't seen it, you got to watch it. But the number one, quarterback taken by us, he hands off a ball and then he runs a trick play. Like, that's what we get out of him. Justin Gilbert, number 1 overall pick, number 8 overall, our first round pick. Yeah, hasn't really lived up. Season's young. Terrence West has been good. A little ups, a little downs, and it's a long season. Hoyer's been good. Not great. He's been good. He's not really making mistakes. I mean, with a team that's supposed to have a pretty good defense, you gave up 30 points, 24 points, and 23 points. So it's a team that could be doing better. Probably will do better. It's probably a really good thing they have their bye week right now. It's a chance to hit reset at 1-2. Take on the Tennessee Titans, and then Pittsburgh, then Jacksonville, then Oakland, and then Tampa Bay. Let's think about that. We're 1-2. Let's say we beat Tennessee, 2-2. Let's say we beat Pittsburgh, 3-2. Jacksonville, 4-2. Oakland, 5-2. Tampa Bay, 6-2. That's not bad. Then you got Cincinnati, that'll be tough. Houston, well, that's a winnable game. 6-2, let's call it 7-3. Then you go to Atlanta, week 12. What happens? Josh Gordon comes back. Buffalo, Indy, Cincy, Carolina, Baltimore. What do we make out of this team? I'll tell you what, it was incredibly frustrating. Incredibly frustrating watching this game. It was interesting, though. After the game, had some food. Food was a good idea at that point. And it was perfect weather, by the way. Absolutely perfect. Predicting rain the whole time. Just gorgeous weather the entire game. Then, half hour, 45 minutes after the game's over, it is swirling wind, flipping chairs on outdoor patios. And I'm just thinking, where was that wind when Justin Tucker was trying to kick the field goal? Where was that wind? I digress. But while eating, sitting next to this couple, they were from Texas, and they came up the first time in Cleveland. They're Johnny Manziel fans. So basically, that makes them Cleveland Browns fans. And they were really cool people, and, ask, what do you think about Johnny Manziel? I'm like, well, a lot of people say he's a D-bag, I said, but he's not knock out his girlfriend in a casino Ray Rice kind of jerk. Or he's not like that. Because I didn't say jerk, so I didn't mean that. But he's not like that. Well, he's not like Ray Caruth. What was that? Kill your pregnant girlfriend and stuff her in the trunk of your car for the Panthers, that guy? Or Dante Stallworth with the Browns, kill a guy with a DUI? Or like really dumb career-ending stuff like Kellen Winslow popping wheelies in a parking lot, blow out your knee, and you're never the same player again? Not like Adrian Peterson, child abuse bad. I'm like, so all things considered, hey, you know what? The jury's still out on Johnny Manziel. He's sitting behind Brian Hoyer, who's proving to be a very capable quarterback. That win against the Saints was impressive. The final drive was impressive. And Johnny Manziel doesn't get rushed in there. He doesn't, you can tell, he doesn't know the playbook very well. He is a playmaker. He's a guy, you just put him out there and things are going to happen. I've watched him in preseason. I've watched him, he improvises. He changes how a defense has to play. And if he rolls out of the pocket and that middle linebacker or outside backer thinks that Johnny's going to take off, suddenly your tight end's more wide open. You know, there are ways to exploit that. So I said, hey, you know, Johnny, he hasn't even been on the field yet. I'm glad he can sit and learn. He's not being forced into a situation where he's, you know, just unaware. He needs to know the playbook inside and out. And that takes a little while in the NFL, especially coming from A&M where it wasn't a pro-style offense where Andrew Luck, where he's coming from out of Stanford. You're very ready to make the transition in the NFL. It's a bit more of a transition for someone like Johnny, coming from the system he was coming from. So, that being said, these people we sat next to loved it. Loved the game. They said the energy was fantastic. And I'm like, where were you sitting? You know, I'm not one of those guys that stands during the entire game by any stretch. But, you know, when you're there at the game, there are certain key moments where you're supposed to get as loud as you can get. That's the point. You want them, like Drew Brees 2 weeks ago. He couldn't hear things. He had to keep calling audibles. They're burning timeouts. Screwing up at the line. They didn't hear the call right. Actually, guy behind me tapped me on the shoulder once. I ignored him. A couple plays later, tapped me on the shoulder. At one point, he's like, "You're killing me, Engelman." Because I have my personalized Cleveland Browns jersey. "You're killing me, Engelman." Like, I didn't turn around. I didn't acknowledge him. I didn't argue. I didn't do that. But we're at a football game, man. Come on, man. It's a football game. We're supposed to be loud. I don't do that when the offense has the ball. I don't do that during every defensive play. But when it's third down, Browns, you know, and it's like trying to get everybody loud. It's like, hey, stand up, you make some noise. Come on, guys. Let's will this team to victory. Instead, I get, "You're killing me, Engelman." And, of course, go through the checklist of all the goofy things that could go wrong in a game. It happened. Like I said, the Browns found a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Don't know how they can so consistently do it. No idea. Dante Whitner, he's angry, and I like that. Heads were still shaking in the Cleveland Browns locker room on Wednesday, 3 days after a last play loss to Baltimore. Running backs coach Wilbert Montgomery talked about being on the other side. He used to coach in Baltimore. Joe Hayden said he's not playing up to the level he expects. Well, no crap. And Dante Whitner said he's flat out steamed. That he was so steamed he left the locker room Sunday as soon as he could. "I'm very angry," Whitner said Wednesday, "because we don't know how good we are or how good we can be yet. And we had opportunities to close out these football games." Talking about the Steelers and the Ravens. "No matter what the outside world thinks or the way they feel, we understand now that we can play with any team in the National Football League. If you beat yourself, if you make small, minor mistakes, they tend to be big things on the football field. Once we clean that up, we should be right where we want to be. But until then, we're not going to take that step forward." Frustration that it's been oh so close for oh so long is simmering, with players saying they've been oh so close for 2 years and it's time for that to end. Quote, "You can't keep shooting yourself in the foot," Montgomery said. "At some point you just have to come out. You look for someone to step up and make a play." He added, "It starts with the coaching staff and then it works its way down through the players," end quote. Whitner knows the Browns' reputation and he accepts it. He pointed out his thinking behind the Browns being given a Week 4 bye. "The NFL sets it up," he said. "If they don't have any expectations for you, they give you a bye week early. If they expect you to go to the Super Bowl, they give you a bye week late." That's interesting. I've never really thought about that. Is that true? The fact that Denver and Seattle have the same bye week as the Browns might blow Whitner's theory up. Okay. But he still feels not many expect much from the Browns. "This is where we fall since the Browns haven't won in a number of years. That's the way it goes." He then looked ahead to Tennessee game coming off the bye and said it's almost a must-have game. Falling to 1-3 would be tough, but not winning after coming so close against two very good teams would let negative feelings take deeper root. "I don't think it's any time to panic," he said. "We lost 2 football games by a total of, 4 points? Then when nobody really gave us a chance to win any of these games? We had numerous opportunities to close this last football game out, whether it be the defensive side of the ball or the offensive side or the special teams catching a punt and not allowing it to bounce inside the 10-5-yard line. There's no need to panic. We just have to clean up the small mistakes." I'll tell you what. I like that he's mad. Because I'm mad. I was really mad. Like, inconsolable. Come on, if you're a sports fan, you know what it's like. But really, specifically, if you're a Browns fan, you know what it's like. I don't know how many games I've gone to since I've moved out to the left coast, but generally speaking, this is a time of year I try to make it back home, in part to catch a Browns game at this time of year. I went to a Chargers game where the beer kegs froze, I tells ya. The beer kegs froze. So, yeah. It's a little different watching a game where you're sweating in the sun. Versus, I can't feel my feet. I can't feel my feet. I have 3 different pairs of socks on and I can't feel my feet. Yes, that happened against the Chargers. Maybe 04, 05, 05, I think. No, I guess it was 04 if it was right before in December. I think it was 04. But it is time for this Cleveland Browns team to do a little bit better and accept, raise the expectations a little bit, if you will. Because this team is very close and they have not been playing up to their potential. Ben Tate's been hurt. Hey, what's new? He's been that way in Texas for a long time. Jordan Cameron banged up. Josh Gordon out till week 12. But you know what? It's the NFL. Put your big boy pants on. You know, Ravens don't have Ray Rice because he's a dirtbag. Vikings don't have Adrian Peterson. I don't know. I'm still trying to understand that story. He whoops his kid. I mean, if he's charged with something, I guess it was way over the line. I should look into it more. You know, but just go across the lead. There's people getting injured all the time. You can't make excuses like that. Next man up. Braxton Miller. All right, Braxton. He's out for the season. Next man up. You know, that's really all you can do. You know, put JT Barrett in, see what he's made of. 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Not great, but okay. 2-1. You know, you just got to step up, and you know, going back to Cleveland and seeing things and going to the casino and downtown and checking stuff out. It really does feel like a different city, and that's good. It has more energy than I remembered it having last time. You know, the last few times I've been back. It feels like there's more energy. I don't think it's just the LeBron James thing by any stretch, by the way. I think it's a lot of stuff. The RNC, you know, and don't get me wrong, the only thing less How am I going to phrase this? I gotta be careful. Wow, I'm thinking too much on this. But the only thing worse than a Democrats or anything worse... See, I'm totally screwing this up. I'm really screwing this up. I have almost equal use for Republicans and Democrats, that being just about zero. I'm over it. So, like, I'm not like, woohoo, the Republicans got the convention. The fact is, a big convention chose Cleveland. It's rare that people choose Cleveland. But the RNC and LeBron and Kevin Love, trust me, Kevin Love deal wasn't getting done unless he's going to re-sign her. So there you have it. People are choosing Cleveland now, and it's time that the Cleveland Browns start to personify and take on not that lovable loser thing or the woe is me. It's time to go out and become a champ. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the losing. I'm so in Dante Whitner's camp. So over it. Having played, I've talked about this before, but when I played football in 8th grade, our team was lousy. Didn't have a win until the last game of the season. I think on the last play of the game, or at least in the 4th quarter. In the mud against Medina, if my memory serves me correct. But then after that, we worked really hard, and then my junior year, we went undefeated as a Brunswick Blue Devil, and played Cleveland St. Ignatius in the state championship. We're winning at halftime. We lost. I played special teams that year. Got injured right before the playoffs. So the playoffs were a little bit less, but all year long I was playing, kickoff, kick coverage, and punt return. I don't know, whatever. But then senior year, played defensive end on an undefeated team that beat Massillon in the first round and lost to Canton McKinley in the second round. Canton McKinley then won the state championship the next year. So, I mean, I'm used to better than this. I'm used to more than this. I'm used to perfect regular seasons and a run for a title. That should be the goal of every football team. Sure it is. But it's time the Browns turn that around. I don't want close. This isn't horseshoes or hand grenades. I don't care that it was a tie game. I don't care that we only lost 30-27 to the Steelers in week 1. That should have been a win. Just take it for what it is. Should have been a win. Tied 27-27. Like 2.5 minutes to go. Lose the game on a Swisham field goal from 41 yards out. Hooray. Hoyer's line in that, 18-30, 222 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception. Okay. Then, of course, the Browns beat the Saints. Then there was Baltimore. Justin Tucker field goal. No time left. Browns were winning 21-20, and they lost 23-21. Really crushing. It was a crushing loss. Once again, it just reminds me that's why I do the show called The Unhappy Hour. But hey, let's just look on the sunny side of life. Cleveland Indians have a chance. 0.1%. 3 games back. Gotta get a misstep from Oakland or Kansas City. Well, Oakland, I think Oakland needs to fall back. But you know what? I'm really happy that they've been competing this year. Buckeyes, we'll see how that plays out. Playing Cincy. But the whole Big Ten in general is down. So they got to fix that. They got to get that figured out. Hey, who knows? Maybe the Cavaliers are going to be the team that gets it done, just for that elusive first championship. First of many, let's hope. First of many championships for the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Cleveland teams. But for now, It's just another story about me going home to watch the Browns and watching a gut-wrenching, horrible, horrible loss. You know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So, that being said, that was my story. Got a week off, and let's hope that things get better for the Browns. Because that was brutal. It was just brutal to be a part of. I mean, there's really no other way to describe it. Just brutal. But those new Cleveland fans, they seem to have a really good time. So thanks for hanging out, people. So, anyway, I still have high hopes for this Cleveland Browns team. I still have high hopes for them. And it's a long season. There are some positive things going on, and Josh Gordon's coming back later. We'll see how it all shakes out. So, first day of autumn was that, yesterday? A couple days ago? October's ready to get here. The times they are a-changing. The weather's cooling off. Not as much in Los Angeles, but the weather's cooling off. Baseball playoffs. Football in full swing. Soon there's going to be basketball. Thanksgiving, Christmas, boom. Another year. 2014 in the books. Go figure. But as a Cleveland fan, I gotta tell you, and I'm just now getting over my blown out voice. I was yelling at that game. I was yelling. Feeling better now, but I really did. I yelled. I don't like watching losing. I want winning. So, anyhow, here's to the Browns getting their act together. Check out our homepage at thenewamericanmedia.com. YouTube.com/thenewamericanmedia. Please click subscribe. On Twitter, we're at American_media_. And on Facebook, do a search for The New American Media with space in between and like the page. Signing out for everybody here at the TNAM Radio Network. I'm Brian Engelman. Peace.
It's the Unhappy Hour.